Okay, I said I'd be done by 6 o'clock. The clock is ticking. So let's write fast. Blue. So chapter 2. Lesson 7. Lesson 7. Convert between systems. Our central question, how are proportions used? Riley, did you get that thing I sent you? That's not the essential question that was written for me, but I'm doing it anyway. I like this question better. Alright, the first part says, there is a chart on page 178. It's a 7. Never mind. We'll figure it out. What is it? A chart on page 178 to help convert. Between customary and metric systems. That's the whole point of what we're doing, is we're converting from customary to metric, which is not super useful, but happens sometimes. Mostly it's just an excuse to write proportions. Okay. Period. Okay, so then we can start. So to convert between systems, set up a proportion and solve. Wow, that's the whole thing. Set up a proportion and solve. So this should be nice and easy. Notes again. That is correct. Your life is notes now. So example 1. And all these are word problems, so that's getting with pain. So convert 8 kilometers to miles. So next time you're in like Canada, and it says you have to drive 8 kilometers. I'm not sure what that means. Or I guess if you're running, it's not a 5K or a 10K, but it's a 8K for some reason, you want to know how many miles that is, this is the problem for you. So you're always going to start off, since these are all word problems, you're going to start with your key, which is the two things you're comparing, which in this case is kilometers and miles. Yes, you should write the page number thing. Or even better, you should just write down all the chart on page 178. And then you won't need a note telling you to go to page 178. Think about that. Okay, what are we doing? So a letter key, miles, 2 kilometers. If you switch it around, you want to put kilometers on top, that's fine. You'll get the same thing either way. Okay? So if we go to our chart, and it tells us that every 1 mile, and we can even put mile if we want to, is equal to 1.61 kilometers. So that's our given. That's on the chart. And then we come over here, and now we take the numbers we have. So 8 kilometers, so 8 would go on the bottom. Miles, we don't know yet, so we can call that X or M, whatever letter we want. And here's our proportion. So now we cross multiply and divide. So cross and divide. And I'm going to put all the work here just like last time. If you found out a quicker way, I would do that. But don't tell Miss Geyer you did that. So if we cross multiply, that's not an x, it's our cross multiply. We have 1.61 times x equals, and then 8 times 1 on the other side. 1.61x we can't do. Hello, new people in the chat. Thanks for being here. 8 times 1, well, that's 8. That was easy. So then we're going to divide both sides by 8. No, we're not. Whoops. Don't divide by 8. That would be wrong. We're going to divide both sides by 1.61. Ha ha ha. I was testing you. Okay. So 1.61 will cancel out. That's the whole reason we did it. And then we just need to know what is 8 divided by 1.61. Ugh, this is no fun anymore. But let's do it anyway as long as we're here. So we have 2 decimal places. So we're going to move it back 2 decimal places. We're going to move this one back 2 decimal places. So really, instead of looking at 8 divided by 1.61, we're looking at 800 divided by 161. And it told me that 161 will go into 800 4 times. That makes sense. 161 times 4 is 4. This is 24. It's 2. So that's 644. So we couldn't get another 161 in there. The benchmark is Wednesday. My bedtime is soon. This is 156. So we add a 0, add a decimal 2. 161 goes into 1560. Ugh, this is awful. This is 9. And then we're going to skip ahead and let's say this is 6. Because it is. Okay, you can keep going if you want, but I'm kind of tired of this. So 4.96 is pretty close to 5. So if x equals 4.96, then we can say x is about 5, and then our answer, final answer, is in miles. So depending on what they say, like 4.96 is an exact answer, but just to say 5 miles is a little bit cleaner. So just answer however they want you to. Okie dokie. Okay. Let's do another one. So example 2. All these numbers are so bad. Why do we use customary? Convert 15 meters The meaning of life is to solve proportions. Alright, so here's our 2 units. We have yards, we have meters. Okay. Then the rate, if we look at our table, it says 1 yard is equivalent to 0.91 meters. Okay, is equal to, and then we want 15 meters, so we put that down on the bottom, over X number of yards. Okay, so then same thing as before, we're going to cross multiply and divide. I ran out of room, hopefully you didn't. Actually, you might have. I think you have the same number of lines as me. We might have to go into the summary. But I've seen your notes. Most of you don't write a summary anyway. That's right. Called out. So if we cross multiply, I'll circle it this time. So we have 15 times 1 on one side and 0.91x on the other. Okay, so 0.91x we can't do anything with. 15 times 1 is just 15. That's the easy part here. So all that's left, the hard part of our problem here, is dividing both sides by 0.91. And this is where you're going to spend a majority of your day tomorrow. It's just dividing decimals. So 15 goes on the inside, 0.91 on the outside. Same as before. We have two decimals here, so we're going to move them over. 15 as a decimal there. We're going to move that over 2 places. So now we have 1500 divided by 91. So let's see how far we get before I get bored with answering this one. So 91 will go into, can't go into 1, can't go into 15, goes into 150 one time. That's 91. 150 minus 91 is, that's 959. Okay, 91 into 590 is 6 times, I think. 91 times 6. 546. So that gives me 454. We add our decimal and a 0. So 91 into 440, ooh, that's, is it 5? I don't think that's 5. I think it's 4. So that's 4, 3, 64, about 5. That's 455. Okay, so it can't go into 5. We can go into 4. And then we're going to have a bunch left over. So this is going to round up. And then I'm bored. So we're going to say x is about 16. Instead of putting 0.4 something, we can round it off to 16.5. And our answer is in yards. So that's it. So this is the real part that matters, setting up your proportions. This part is testing if you know basic arithmetic. And altogether, meaning of life. Okay, what's left? 2 more examples. Okay, we can do this. Example 3. A tree has a height of 50 meters, 50 feet. I'm going to shorten this question. 50 feet tall. Period. What is its height in meters? So this appears to be a word problem, but it's the same exact thing as what we did on the previous page. It's basically saying convert 50 feet to meters. Okay, so we look at our 2 units. We have feet, we have meters. There it is. I'm going to write down feet and meters. I feel like we're just putting customary on top and metric on the bottom, which makes me think that Miss Geyer is biased against the metric system. Should I just put it on the bottom? Feel free to ask her about that. So we look at our chart. It tells us every 1 foot is 0.3 meters. Okay. Meters. And we want to know what is 50 feet. Okay, this is going to be an easy one. Thank goodness. 50 feet is X number of meters. So we're going to cross multiply and divide every single time. This is your life now. Cross multiply, then divide. Everyone, when you send out your streaks today, you should leave a note that says cross multiply, then divide. Okay? It's like your extra credit. Show me tomorrow. Okay, what are we doing? So we cross multiply. So we have 1x on one side. We have 0.3 times 50 on the other side. What's everyone about lemons? What is the deal today? 1x, 1 times anything is just that number, so that's just x. 0.3 times 50 is something we can do. I don't know why I put it there. 0.3 times, covered it up. So this is 150 with a decimal point, so that's 15. We don't even have to divide here. because we already have x. Okay, so that's our answer. 50 feet is 15 meters. Piece of cake. Last one. You still have 19 minutes. Which is greater? Question mark. Oh, okay. Which is greater? A, 1.5 pound, so 1.5 lb, it's a L, 1.5 pound box of gummy worms, or B, 650 gram box of Scooby Snacks. I feel like that's a copyrighted item that my video is going to get taken down for talking about licensed products. Scooby Snacks. Okay, so there's our question. So we can't compare these directly because they're in different units, which means we have to convert one of them. And it looks like we're going from pounds to grams. So we're going to look at our gummy worms. Okay. So 1.5 pounds is how many grams? So we have, here it is again, pounds on top, grams on the bottom. Geyer hates the metric system. She puts it on the bottom. And we have 1 pound, according to the chart. Every 1 pound is 453.6 grams. Yeah, boy. And we want to know how much is 1.5 pounds? Is some number of grams. So we're going to cross multiply. So same as last time. Not even circle it again because we didn't circle it last time. We have 1 times x. We also don't have to keep using x. You can use any letter. Don't want you to get that stuck in your head that you have to use x. 453.6 times 1.5 on the other side. So this is going to be sort of nice. We don't have to divide by anything terrible because 1 times x is just x. So our end result is just going to be what is 453.6 times 1.5, which now that I look at it is not that great of a question to answer. But let's do it. 5 times 6, 30. 5 times 3 is 18. 5 times 5 plus 1, 26. This is 22. Bring down a 0. 453.6 times 1 is 453.6. This is 0, 4. Carry the 1. 10, 8, 6. 1 decimal place on top. 1 decimal on the bottom means we have 1, 2 in our answer. So this is 680.4 grams. And now once we have these two, we have 680.4 compared to 650. And we can say the gummy bears are heavier. Okay. And that's it. Has the highest weight. You want to put that. So that's it for the notes. So once you have this, you have to do your real homework now, which is the same instructions as last time, but apparently a lot of you didn't follow those instructions, which makes your teacher very mad. That you need to go to my.ccisd.us. You need to find the textbook. Okay? So you're going to go, it's going to say, actually let me bring it up here, and then I can find it with you. my.ccisd.us. Go. A little slow, a little slow. Okay, so you're going to go under the tab that says Applications. Yeah, click it. Click Applications. You're going to see McGraw-Hill. And it's got a green box with red letters in it that says McGraw-Hill. Okay. Okay, click that. Click, click, click. You're going to wait. It's going to load. It's going to bring you to a screen that's got all your textbooks on it. This is probably your science one, maybe an English one. But most importantly, it's going to say, hey, it's like really slow today. Okay, here it is. It's going to say Texas Math Course 2. And you're going to click it. Click. And then, I think yours looks different, so you're a little bit on your own here. But on mine, there's like a blue box, right? And it's got a little arrow here, and then this part's a little bit darker blue. And you want to click it, and it's going to bring like a drop down menu. You're going to find Chapter 2, Lesson 7. Okay. 2, Lesson 7. And then off to the side, under a green box that says Resources, and you're going to click the blue box with the arrow on it. That's going to take you to your videos. See, it's like a play button. And let's say, to keep it simple, there's one with a dude running that says 5K race. So click the one that says 5K race, and then watch it for a while. And then somewhere on your paper, like down here where I put all these instructions, you're going to write about what it talks about. Okay? If that doesn't work for some reason, you need to write down here why it didn't work. Which of these steps were you unsuccessfully able to follow? Okay? Do not leave this blank, or you'll be in like extra trouble. Okay? Okay. That's it. 5:49. Finished. 10 minutes to spare.